And everybody likes a great check-in. And of course, we have to check into the stellar NBA postseason so far. For real, even though there wasn't one game 7, a lot of games down to the wire, very physical play. It felt like solid 90s NBA basketball. The refs are just letting these players play, and you got to love it. And we have to break down what's going on so far in the conference semis and eulogize some of the teams that have been knocked out early. So with that, the productive NBA crew is here to talk all things postseason, and as we check in on the matchups and what's going to happen. So with that, David Bach is here, host of Fresh Faces, New Ideas. Bach, what's up?
What up, guys? I was just doing stream. We were talking about all things Roe v. Wade. And what else were we talking about? Chris Paul's. It's good. You guys should listen to me. I do lots of politics.
Definitely. I'm sure you're excited for a little break there. We also have host of Independent Thought, Desmond Price is here. What's up, my dude?
Doing a little bit of politics myself, just staying off the stream for a couple of days. Got a new podcast season coming up next week, so I'm excited to take a break out of the politics world and come talk about some sports for a couple hours.
Are you on banned?
This. What?
Weren't you banned from wasn't your podcast banned for a little? Are you on banned?
I'll tell you after the introductions. We'll get to it.
Okay, so yeah. Something we love people who will always fight for the First Amendment rights there. So glad to see you there, Desmond. Alex Rannielio is here. I see you've been killing it with the painting game, making murals. It's mural season, doing some good work there. What's up, Alex?
Yes, sir. Happy to be back with you, gentlemen. Just finished my mural for Hartford Taste Festival. We're expecting about 1,000 people, including the governor in Connecticut next month. So very excited.
Well, congratulations. That's awesome. And we have Barz Tha God here, killing it wherever he goes in the state of Connecticut, as well as Alex takes care of Northern Connecticut. Barz takes care of Southern, and Bach take care of New York, and Desmond takes care of Montana. And I can't keep up in New Jersey, so I'll just admit that. But Barz Tha God, what's up, dude? How you doing?
It's the New Jersey Devil, Matt Brown.
Please let all the people know, Barz. But how are you doing? Great to see you.
I'm always solid. Happy Cinco de Mayo. You know what it is.
That's right. Happy Cinco de Mayo to all who celebrated both responsibly and not responsibly, but hopefully you didn't mess up too much there. And what's great about today is there is no NBA playoffs, so it's a good time to check in as the games resume by the time of this recording this Friday the 6th. And let's get to it, guys. Before we get into the broader scheme of things, I mentioned there's been some really physical play going on in all of the series that's taken place so far in the first round and transition to the second round. How do we feel about the refs letting these players go at it?
I mean, so I didn't see the second Memphis game, but I thought the Draymond tech was kind of nonsense.
Yeah, he was trying to save the guy, and then he gets kicked out.
I mean, look, to be fair, Dylan Brooks is essentially like what happens if you cross Grayson Allen with PJ Tucker, where he just tackles people and then kind of hurts them in the same way Grayson Allen does, but is better than Grayson Allen. So, things like that are going to happen.
I see.
I thought it was Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I think it was more of a reputation call because I didn't see that kind of, I didn't see it as that flagrant as they called it to be. And just to, further to your point, Matt, I think they've been kind of over calling some of these hard fouls. That's kind of what the playoffs are about. So that's just my opinion. I'm a little more old school on that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I agree as well. The refs have been letting them do their thing, but that Draymond call was a little it was unneeded. Because if you're gonna call that on him, you might as well call what happened later on to Gary Payton. So
yes, and the man has a broken elbow right now, which we will definitely get into when we talk about the Warriors and Grizzlies and how that is a factor. But any other words, Desmond? You like this more physical play, 90s NBA basketball type of stuff?
I like the how the refs let them play a little bit more overall. I also didn't think that Draymond play was like, flagrant 2 worthy. But yeah, no, I like the style of play. I like that they're calling calls less. I feel like sometimes like the regular season NBA is unwatchable, which is how they call all these fouls, especially on certain people like like James Harden back in the day, not so much this year, but people like Luka Doncic, they just like live at the free throw line looking for the most the most basic love tap to get to the free throw line. So I'm liking the actual play where the people falling on the ground, refs looking at them like, hey, get back up, let's go. So yeah, I'm with it.
Awesome stuff. Now, transitioning to that, before we go into the specific series, I think I will throw this question out and it could lead to a good conversation. But out of the teams that got knocked out early, which includes the Brooklyn Nets, Atlanta Hawks, Toronto Raptors, the Bulls, Pelicans, Nuggets, the T-Wolves, and Jazz, I want to ask you guys, which of these teams are you most interested in seeing what their next move is after being eliminated? And I can start this conversation. Obviously, the Brooklyn Nets has been the most surprising in the sense of most surprising exit. Now, not saying that they were overwhelming favorites, but no one saw a sweep coming. When Kyrie and Kevin Durant were first signed in the summer of 2019, who would have thought that at one point during this run, they're going to get swept in the playoffs and in the first round? So,
Nobody.
yeah, like
not even in the first round in a series that both of them were healthy in. Like
yes.
if you said they were getting swept, you say, oh, well, both of them are hurt.
Right.
Not the case. And this leads to so many questions. The first one I want to bring up is focusing on the Nets. Steve Nash, he was severely outcoached against Ime Udoka.
Get him out of there.
Yeah. Is it time? Is Ime Udoka? Is it time for Steve Nash to go? Does this prove that? I mean, reckon that he had experience as an exec with the Warriors, but if you just put a big name player in there who was a point guard, and we know that point guards usually make good coaches, but do you feel that Steve Nash needs to go and they need a more experienced coach moving forward?
Can I go first on this one, y'all?
Yes.
It don't matter who the coach of that team is. Here's the reason for it. Kyrie Irving is one person in particular who won't be coached. Like he just plays his game no matter who's at the helm. He ain't gonna listen to no coach. I mean, I feel the same way about him as I do about LeBron, and going to a different sport, actually someone like Peyton Manning. Like when they get on the court or the field, like they are the coach. They're going to run whatever they want to run. They don't care what you're drawing up in the timeout. I mean, Kyrie told us from the beginning he has no respect for any coach that came onto that team. And so it doesn't matter what coach you put in that role. Kyrie, as long as he's there, is going to be a disrupting fashion because all he wants to do is play that ISO ball. That's all he's going to do while he's there. He's not really a team guy. I mean, can we be fair about that? Is Kyrie a team guy?
It's not on Steve Nash to fix a roster that had like serious issues. Like they didn't have anybody on the wing. Look, let's be having Ben Simmons actually would have solved like some of their wing defensive issues, but he got the short end of the stick on a lot of that. It was pretty bad for most of his he couldn't do things. Like they're unmatched. This Celtics team is just bonkers good.
Mm-hmm.
There's not like much that he could have done in this case. Also, he's ended up with like 4 separate teams since he's been there. Like they had James Harden for, I think if the 3 of them played a total of like 20 games together, and then he had James Harden and Kyrie for like 10 minutes, and then Kyrie wouldn't get vaccinated, and then they played together for like 8 minutes, and then KD was out, and then KD and Kyrie coming back together at the end, and that was like it. Like there's no consistency on this team. You can't. It's kind of similar to the Sixers where they've had like no consistency for like the last year. Like their longest stretch was without, like they were doing really well. They were at like almost the 1 seed before they traded for James Harden because they were consistent. Like if you're not consistent, you can't blame a coach for that. And also their roster is really shit.
Well, I gotta agree.
That's where that's where I was going to meet you guys in the middle, Desmond and Bach, because it's like I think they have big egos on the roster, so it's hard to manage egos no matter who you are as a coach, even if you're a second-year coach or you're Phil Jackson or like a seasoned coach. But then also you have roster issues because you don't have the height, you don't have the length, and you don't have guys who want to play defense outside of a couple guys like Bruce Brown.
They're allergic to defense, bro.
Or Claxton. Like you got a few guys that are scrappy that'll play defense, but you're outmatched on defense. So, and I think that series was just tailor made for Boston with their length on the perimeter. So I think it was a combination of both things.
I'm gonna touch 2 points. One, like Bach said, it's like a lot like the 76ers. Like they just consistently keep falling apart at the worst times. Joel Embiid has, I probably feel like, the shittiest luck.
Yo, I was gonna bring that up.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
Ever touched the court outside of Greg Oden. Like, but fucking to touch down on what Alex said, it's like it's like defense is like not a thing anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to double back down, 90s basketball was all about fucking defense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you like, that's why there was so many gritty, rough, like physical plays, because it was all about defense. You can't stop them. Well, throw your body in there. Like, these dudes is like, oh, they're coming down the paint. Let me slide, bitch. Block the ball. Like, what we doing here? Throw your hands up. Sacrifice a limb. Do something. It's a team sport.
They don't have an enforcer.
Like they have no bigs. Like Andre Drummond. The idea of him from like 4 years ago is still better than what he was.
Bro, they got rid of.
Don't tell me DeAndre Jordan, because he was a ghost of himself before he got to Brooklyn.
Oh no, my boy the Fro.
Oh yeah,
Jared Allen.
They got rid of Jared Allen.
That was a big mistake.
Yeah. No, it's not just that though. It's also a leadership thing. Like when your two best players won't even try to play that hard at defense, what does that say to everybody else?
You saw that have a drama queen and a prima donna.
You saw that this year with the Lakers too. Like LeBron was taking so many plays off this year. You could see it on the rest of the Lakers.
Like wouldn't even go in the transition.
Yeah, they wouldn't even try. So it was like, oh, like why would I close out? LeBron won't close out. But on a team like the Celtics, like Jason Tatum, like he's out there working his ass off on defense. That trickles down to the whole team after that. Like everyone's like, oh, my star is playing defense. Yeah. I got to play defense for damn sure.
Well, it's a mindset, because these guys are like, they're two ISO players. They put that, they got big egos, and they want to do all. They don't want to do any of the heavy lifting, and that's where an accountability on the coaching level needs to step in. But if Steve Nash is not that guy, then it's kind of you can't really fix that.
Well, the question becomes like, do these players want to be coached? Because these are grown men. They're not kids.
Sometimes
right?
it feels like they don't. Like it's literally.
I mean, like you can put any voice in there, but if they're like, "Hey, I get paid $40 million a year. I don't care what you got to say." I mean, what can you do about that?
Well, I put that on Ben Simmons.
Sit their ass on the bench.
Yeah, but they won't do that.
Yeah, it's the question like who are they going to listen to? Like who are they going to respect? There's like 3 or 4 coaches who everyone like universally. It's like Pop, Eric Spoelstra, and
Phil Jackson.
You're talking about active coaches right now.
Yeah, I don't know if Phil Jackson walked on the bench if people would respect him anymore. He was such a disaster like in the Knicks.
No, Bach. I'm making a separate argument. I'm saying like coaches that they would respect enough to handle egos, to manage egos.
Oh no, but like you got to talk about who the players would respect. It's like Pop and Spoelstra, like they know.
Currently, yeah, but you got.
I don't know who the third one would be. Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr, I think, would be the other one.
Yeah.
Nah, even then, let me say this: Pop is too much of a hard ass. They wouldn't fuck with it. Like, yeah.
Well, that's why KD didn't come here in 2016.
They listened to him as long as Tim Duncan was active.
Like, and come on, like after that, it was over. Like Popovich is an asshole, but he knows how to coach. So you got to take it like.
What worked out for Popovich was the fact that Duncan would listen, because when everyone saw Duncan listen to Pop, and they were like, okay, well, if he's listening, I got to listen too.
But Dunk's been there since he was a kid. So, you know,
it was kind of the same situation as like Belichick and Brady. Like as long as Brady was there, he could keep everybody in lockstep and toe, like in line. But as soon as he went out the door, like Tim Duncan did, it started to slowly go away.
My last question against the Nets before we go to another team is Kyrie's up for an extension. Do you give him the extension or let him play a contract year?
I
Sean
couldn't
Marks.
say hell no more passionately if I wanted to. I mean, if
It's
I'm in that, if
literally-
I'm the executive, I couldn't wait to get Kyrie out of there. Like, give me anybody.
And I hear Rudy Gobert doesn't want to play with Donovan Mitchell no more, so send him to Brooklyn.
They're not
You
gonna
think they
send-
would?
they're not gonna
You
know.
think they would do a trade, a one-on-one Jonathan
No,
Mitchell for
no.
Kyrie
They're
Irving?
gonna trade. If they're gonna trade for Gobert, it's gonna be Simmons.
Okay,
That's a
They're
mean
gonna
trade.
trade Simmons for Gobert.
but I just
Simmons,
wonder
If you're
if
looking for a
Sean
point
Marks.
guard, honestly, if you're looking for a point guard, you trade Kyrie for D'Angelo Russell.
I would never give up D'Angelo Russell for Kyrie.
They gotta have a better point guard than D'Angelo Russell.
You know, I think this
Jesus
is actually a
Christ.
good transition. The T-Wolves. Now, I made the dumb mistake of saying they'd get swept. They did make it a 6-game series and made it competitive throughout. And the T-Wolves were alive during their series against the Grizzlies. Do you guys expect them to just needing to add a few more pieces and going farther with this? Did you like
I
the
go first
play
on this
that
one?
was going? How do you feel about the T-Wolves, even though they got knocked out?
Let me go first on this one because I want to answer the question that you posed to us in the start.
Yeah.
I think that my most anticipated team is the Timberwolves.
Mhm.
I had them going 7 games. They went 6. I was close. They still didn't win. But I liked what I saw when they played. And what I mean is when they lost, I didn't like that shit. It was so lethargic. It seemed like they were just like, we're here, but we ain't really here. And you got these guys running up and down on the court on you. Fucking Ja Morant is an unspeakable animal. So I understand why they ended up losing, but you got to do better. But I feel like they're just like 1 or 2 pieces, even bench pieces, away from making it out of the first round.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Anthony
okay.
Edwards is a dog. That kid is good. He is.
Yeah.
That is like, and you need talent to be tougher and like smarter.
And work ethic.
It's like, I think if you brought Jimmy Butler back into this team, that would be like a huge difference because then they'd be able to handle it.
We're never giving Jimmy back.
Not without.
I actually read. I was reading an article today that one of the like the sneaker like unexpected trade destinations, and one of them was James Harden to Miami. I just fucking lost my shit. I was like, nobody is traded for James Harden.
You don't want him.
He's willing to take a massive pay cut.
I mean, if he's coming to Miami to retire, like not play on the team, like kind of play Udonis Haslem role, we'll take him. You know what I'm saying?
No, but the Timberwolves they're gonna be good. They need a little more from their point guard.
I think
Spencer
the team.
Dinwiddie. You send Spencer Dinwiddie over there, and they got it.
I think the T
Why?
Wolves.
Russell's better.
I really thought they were going to go 7. They obviously had the talent to go 7. They blew 3 fourth quarter leads.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, you just play a little more poised, and those are 3 wins. I mean, we're talking about them being in the second round right now. So obviously they got the talent to be good, to go forward. Anthony Edwards is a star. I mean, just give that man a couple of years. You're going to see what he's going to do.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it really comes down to the fact that like Cat can't be your best player on that team because
2 years
he is not poised. He's been in this
2
league
years,
too long to be making these dumb plays that he makes. Just bad shot selection, like bad attitude, just making too many just like losing basketball plays. If he's your number 1 option, that's a problem. He needs to be number 2 at best, or else your team's never going to really be anything special. So they got to get someone to be better. Hopefully that'll be Anthony Edwards. He'll like elevate above him. And then, a couple more people off the bench for some depth who will just figure out a way to not let the game slip away. I know that they're a 3-point shooting team, but sometimes you got to be like Drew Holiday and just get in the paint and get that tough bucket to like stop the other team's momentum. Like momentum's a big deal in basketball. People don't take that for seriously enough, I think, in certain times.
Especially in the playoffs.
They could have gone to 7. I mean, if Anthony Edwards doesn't go for that steal in game 5.
There's so many moments like that, though,
True.
right? How many moments did it come
True.
down to like 1 or 2 things that made them lose the game? They lost 3 games in the fourth quarter. I mean,
But like he said, they blew 3 fourth quarter
because
leads.
they could score.
They look like
their
the Jazz.
offense is great. Their defense is. And look, they got like Jaden McDaniels is still like super young, and so is like Edwards is like 21. The kid's been playing basketball for like 5 minutes.
How old is Vanderbilt?
Oh, he's young too, though. I think it's like
I like him. I like him. I
Yeah.
feel like this team is not as fast as the Grizzlies, but it's got the grit. So
The Grizzlies struggled against them too.
Yeah, come on.
They
It wasn't
really
easy. They did not make it easy for him. Like
This Grizzlies team is just wild, man. I love this Grizzlies. This is just
I can't
so
wait
much
to get
fun.
to the Grizzlies. I can't wait to get to the Grizzlies.
Definitely. I'm saving
No,
that
but this
one.
of the most exciting teams that got knocked out in the offseason, it's the Timberwolves. They're the Raptors are like the only teams that you could look at themselves like, you know what, I feel good about going into next year. Like we're in a good place. Like everyone else is basically like screwed.
And you know what? I'm gonna agree with you because it came down
right.
between the Raptors or the Timberwolves. Ultimately, I chose the Timberwolves, but the Raptors aren't far either because the Raptors took what, 2 games, 1 game?
2 games. For a second, people
games.
thought, could they be the first NBA team to go to win a series down 3-0?
It would
I know
be the
they
Sixers.
got destroyed
It would
by
be
your
the-
team in game 6,
be.
but who would have thought for a second? They did put up a fight.
They almost won game 3. I mean, I
Yeah.
told you the Sixers. When I said Sixers in 7 because I was like, the Sixers are known to choke. So I mean, like that was
And then having James Harden and Doc is, that doesn't help.
The Sixers are nothing but a joke.
I mean, that's not fair. Maxi's
Listen,
the truth. Maxi is
Listen,
the
I don't know if
damn
there's
truth.
more like
Maxi's a beast.
if there's I don't, like you said it earlier, but Embiid is the most cursed NBA player since Greg Oden. Like think about his career, because now we're that man would have won a title in fucking Cleveland if he doesn't get hurt right before the draft. Like he gets drafted number 1 in that year and stays in Cleveland to start his career over going to Philly. Like think about the things that happened to him in Philly. They took Ben Simmons and then chose Ben Simmons over Jimmy Butler. They took Jahlil Okafor over literally anybody else. They could have had Giannis on that team.
You're also forgetting the fact that I almost forget what the dude's name is right now, but that one guy who we had to like ship to Orlando, we took him.
And the fact Markelle Fultz didn't work out.
We took him over Jason Tatum. We
Yeah.
could have had Jason Tatum.
But like if Markelle Fultz works out, this turns out differently. Like
That's
Or
true.
if we just draft Jason Tatum.
Markelle Fultz and Ben Simmons were supposed to be a 1-2 punch. You slide Embiid in there, you got a big 3.
like that,
What
like
if?
Markelle Fultz, where he in college would have been perfect for him. Like that was the player you needed. He's like
Didn't he also get hurt though?
no, he had like a mental breakdown. I forgot how to play basketball for like.
People can't handle Philly. It's a different type of city. Okay, people
It
think it's tough
literally
playing
is.
New York, but no one ever talks about New York
thing is,
that way.
Nobody-
That's the thing is Ben Simmons is very thin skinned. Like I didn't see that working from the beginning because you could tell he had issues back in college when he opted out of the NIT. So yeah, I just don't like. I agree with everything you guys just said.
Well, I think then in that sense, we felt pretty the most part the names of the biggest names. Obviously, the Nets, the Raptors.
we gotta talk about
Timberwolves
Utah.
made a push. Yes, I was going to do that. The other one with Utah and their loss.
I'm
And
hanging up my Utah jersey.
Kaboom. That team's going kaboom.
so that's what I think. Is it time to blow it up?
There's
Whether
not a single
Gobert
person
goes,
worth
Donovan
keeping on that
leaves,
team. You trade
Fuck
everybody.
yeah.
everybody.
Trade everybody.
Don't leave no one. Don't even think about playoff aspirations for the next 5 years. I need you to hit the draft heavy.
There's
And
not a
then
single
free
keeper.
agency hard. Like there is no. Oh my god. First of all, get rid of Rudy Gobert. I've never seen such a great defensive but underperformingly offensive 7-foot tall player. Like he's
give
so
you Ben
underwhelming
Wallace.
to be 7 foot tall.
No,
Hey.
Ben Wallace was better than Rudy Gobert offensively.
Dude, nah, Ben Wallace won a chip.
He is in the NBA Hall of Fame too.
I mean, he won a
Yeah,
chip
but
because he could
he's
play
getting-
Shaq 1-on-1. I mean, he didn't win it for actually getting buckets.
Oh, okay, but like he played Shaq one-on-one.
Right, but no, great defense, but he wasn't getting buckets. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but
No,
they
he's
had him there for the big body. They had Rip
Right.
Hamilton, Mr. Big Shot, and Rasheed.
I
They-
love that 04
That
Pistons team,
team
man.
was sick.
That team was great. I love
That's
that
actually
team.
fun
That
fact.
team
Their
was
like
so
spiritual
serious.
successor is like these
Darko
Grizzlies.
Milicic, like
Larry Brown coached. Actually, my first NBA game I saw in person was Knicks and Pistons. That team, the Knicks
Oh,
won
okay.
back in February '04. One of the most
Yeah.
fun things ever. But
blow the squad up. And
You know,
I'm hanging up my Utah jersey. I'm only gonna be a Donovan Mitchell fan from now on.
Why?
That's
He's
it.
not. He's overrated.
He's
He's CJ McCollum with better PR.
well, You saw what McCollum did.
McCollum's cooking. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
But you can't. He's acting like he's the number one. Like who? Like I think you could probably shift Gobert to like a whole bunch of different places. You can send him to Dallas. You can send him to Golden State. You can send him to like
Golden
Brooklyn.
State. That's a good idea.
No, Golden State needs to go after Mitchell Robinson because he's cheaper and it would work better. But like. You could send it like I don't know where Rudy Gobert has places. You need to go to like a team that doesn't really need him. Send him to Toronto so they can do like he could do like the same thing Marc Gasol did, and then they can not play him in the last 5 minutes. But nobody else on the team has any value other than him and Donovan Mitchell. And I don't know who like the Knicks.
I don't know about that. What's the dude's name? Brandon Clark. I think he's a decent young player.
Brandon Clark.
Who?
No, Clarkson. Who am I thinking of? The kid
Jordan Clarkson. Yeah,
Clarkson,
but like you can get.
I was just gonna say he can't be your highest scoring player in the playoffs. Sorry, Bach.
I mean, honestly, when I saw the Jazz play the Mavericks, the one thing I could not get over was the fact that they felt like a slightly faster version of the Lakers, saying like they had barely no athleticism, they had almost no offense. I mean, their defense wasn't that great either for a team that's supposed to be like anchored by the defensive player of the year multiple times over. I mean, I was like, how did this team get the 5 seed?
Well, it's literally because it's easier in the regular season. Like their defense has been like this. They don't have a wing. Like they don't.
Especially after watching the Pelicans like dominate, I was just like, how are the Pelicans the 8th seed in this tournament?
Oh, can we honorable mention the Pelicans, please?
I think we're gonna get there, right?
Yeah, we are. And
Zion was leaving before this. He's not leaving anymore. Zion's not leaving anymore. He was leaving.
He'd be dumb too.
But wrapping up things first with the Jazz, we definitely see them breaking it. Is there anyone to blame for this diabolical failure? They didn't make it past the second round or anything. They had so much potential. Whose fault is this?
Their front office.
The entire Jazz organization.
I agree.
No, they have they have a good coach. It's their front office for like doubling down on the fact that they've had the same issue for 3 straight years. It's that they have no perimeter stoppers and they have no ability to go small.
Who's their coach?
This feels like a roster construction issue.
Yeah,
I mean, it feels like they just didn't put a good team together, which is just like time for a GM to get fired, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, that's why they brought Danny Ainge.
That's why they brought Danny Ainge.
Yeah, well, I mean, he can't fix a team in 1 year, so at least. What
I know, but that's what he's there for. He's going to start fixing that team.
He's got to make a move for that wing.
Yeah,
didn't he just retire for like health reasons?
I wouldn't get rid of Michael Connolly, but I'd relegate him to coming off the bench, and I'd go and get me a dynamic point guard or someone where Donovan Mitchell isn't controlling the ball. He could find and pick his spots, and I would go out and probably get like a Miles Turner, a big, dominant big man, got great blocks. He could probably give you anywhere from 13 points and probably 15 rebounds, something like that. Probably 3 blocks. And then I would keep what's old boy, their wing player, Royce O'Neal.
Don't have one.
Oh, I thought he was a wing. He not a wing?
Oh no, Royce O'Neal is like he's like shitty Jay Crowder.
Okay. All right. So I might trade up.
It's everybody. They have nobody. Nobody is untouchable. Trade everybody.
That's what I'm saying. You need more defense. You need someone 3-and-D.
No, you don't. It's not you need 3-and-D. It's this iteration of your team has failed. It is time to build from the ground up.
Bogdanovic's defense is shaky at best. And
you can probably get good money you can probably get a good deal from him because they were very good. Like he was in.
They got rid of Niang. They sent Niang to what? Philly? Like, come on, bro.
He's not good. He's not good.
Now talking about New Orleans, a 4-2 series, but a lot of fun. These guys have more playoff wins than the Brooklyn Nets, with players like CJ McCollum leading the squad and all that fun jazz going there. It was very intriguing to see. Does Alonzo wish he didn't leave? So no. But anyways, with these Pelicans, led by Willie Green after a great first year for him, for a team that went 36-46, getting 2 solid playoff wins. You got to give them credit. This was definitely awesome to see after they fired Stan Van Gundy last year. Now, you said one big point you made, Bach. Zion is definitely not leading now after taking the year off and all those things about weight problems and all of that. Is he
You
gonna
got to keep him out of the gumbo. Like,
is he gonna join his boy and the Knicks and RJ Barrett? I don't want that. Why wouldn't you want to with Brandon Ingram going in? And as I mentioned, CJ McCollum, Larry Nance has been great.
Yo, they got Larry Nance in that throw-in, like as a throw-in, and I'm like,
Yeah.
you guys are out of your mind. Larry Nance is fucking good.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
still
He's
being stellar.
underrated. No, this Pelicans team is fun. They got a bunch of weirdos on this team, and they are a fun bunch of weirdos. Like, I
best
love
eight
their
seed.
backup point guard.
Well,
Their
most
backup point
fun
guard
eight
might be
seed.
my favorite underrated player of all time. That shit when I watched him, like when I was watching some of the recaps.
Alvarado?
Yeah, and he would like hide in the corner. Literally lost my shit laughing. That's like the funniest thing I think. I have never seen a basketball player who literally plays hide and seek in the corner. It is like the fun. And look, like Brandon Ingram is kind of been the same player for like the last 3 years, but he has his moments where it's like it comes together and it's like, holy shit, this guy is really good. And they're just like they're really just a Zion size hole for being away. But like this team and Willie Green deserve like an ungodly amount of credit for making it to the playoffs for how bad they were to start this season.
Well, they started like what, 1-16 or something?
1-12.
Yeah. And yeah, no, props to Willie Green because I think this is his first coaching gig outside of being an assistant coach in the past. And no, at a certain point, I mean, like, I agree with everything you said. I think that Brandon Ingram's basically played the same way he was ever since he left the Lakers. He's definitely taken the elevated step the last couple of years with the All-Star games and appearances that he's been playing in. But now that you get a second guy who can get his own shot, like McCollum, things open up for him where he could play a little more one-on-one, take advantage of the height difference with his matchups, and kind of get to his spots a lot easier. So the court entirely opens up for them. But I'm excited for this team too because I think that they are a one Zion big step away. But at a certain point, if he has one more faulty season where he's, coming into camp not ready or he's injured or whatever the case may be, they're going to have to make a decision with him.
I think his contract situation is more interesting than Kyrie's because I don't know what you have to give him the Embiid contract where it's like if you don't play like 30 games, you get paid like $10.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know that Zion would want to leave after this. I mean, the smart thing to do is to be like, hey, this team's already good without me, which takes all the pressure off of you as like a quote unquote like supposed young star, right? I mean, all you gotta do is just fit.
Pick.
He's got to just go in there and just fit in. I mean, they just proved that they could play with one of the best teams in the league, and they pushed them those whole 6 games. I mean, Brandon Ingram had never been in the playoffs before, but he proved really quickly that he belonged on that stage. I mean, he was willing to show up and like put up like 20, 25 points every single game. I mean, it's one thing to do it like once or twice, but doing it every single game, like when you're the guy in your first playoff series, that's kind of a big deal. Valanciunas had a decent series. Those 2 young guys, what was it, like Herb? Or like what was the
Herb Jones?
Herb Jones.
That
kid can play defense. I mean, the Alvarado kid was kind of pissing me off.
Like Jackson Hayes too.
But I respect his hustle. And yeah, McCollum was inconsistent, but he's better than what he showed in that series. This team looks good going forward, man. Zion should be excited to get a part of this team because he don't got to do that much. He's got to just fit in.
Well, and I think you kind of lose the leverage when you're never healthy too. So I think that he needs this team more than the team needs him at this moment in time. So just in terms of contract negotiations.
And it's not like he can't get traded later. Like if he signs whatever max he signs, it's not like he can't say in like 2 years, I'm out.
Yeah.
True. I mean, I would stay in New Orleans if I was him. Obviously, other people left and they feel salty about it. I'm sure Lonzo Ball would rather be in New Orleans right now than getting swept out in the first. Oh, was it? It was in 5 games.
He was hurt. That was part of the reason too.
True.
Oh no, was he not?
True, but even if he was on the court, they still
play.
would have lost in 5. Let's be serious, because the Bucks
Yeah,
lost.
but I don't think they would have been that seed. They would have been higher because he made a big difference for that team. They weren't going to pay him whatever the Bulls paid. I think they paid him 4 for 68 or something like that.
I was trying to find a nice transition to the Bucks Bulls conversation.
That's true. Oh yeah, that Bulls team is done. It is done. It is over.
Oh, we could just make it bladed. So yes,
Oh, hell
losing
no.
4-1, Chicago with the 6th seed after being a top team in the conference all year long, and then just really steep down and let the Bucks take it over. The Bulls just making it before the play-in games. They lose. Big injury, Lonzo Ball. You saw DeMar DeRozan, who people thought was an MVP candidate at one point, dwindle down. I mean, you just had like Vujic and Zach LaVine, just things not clicking where they should be. And what was it? Let me just check right here. They lost 4 of the last 5 games. I mean, it was tough, really, really tough. And it did not transition well in the playoffs. As I see right here, none of the games were close at all except game 2, which they actually won by 4. But yeah,
but it took
for
like that game. Both Bobby Portis and Middleton got hurt in that game.
Yeah.
Former Bull, by the way.
Yeah, dude, I remember when Bobby Portis got drafted, and I was like, "That's a good pick." But he had to go play that 1 year in New York where he like figured out how to play that, like he could like figure things out, and then he became to like an actual winning organization.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, don't blow it up. Nah,
it doesn't matter. LaVine's leaving.
Trade. I
Oh,
was
you
gonna
think
say
so?
it's funny. I was gonna say get rid of Zach LaVine, and if you're gonna bring somebody in, Donovan Mitchell.
For who? You're gonna trade what? LaVine for Donovan Mitchell? That's a side grade.
I don't know. I think the Bulls are still a couple of years
would
away
trade
from
him.
being real
I would keep Donovan
contenders,
Mitchell.
but you know,
Over Zach LaVine.
they got a decent foundation right now.
They have some nice pieces. They got that point guard kid, and I still like Patrick Williams. Lonzo and Caruso is still like a stupid, intelligent backcourt. I mean, look, obviously DeMar DeRozan's not going to be fucking Superman again. But
Maybe for another year.
Yeah.
Wait. Don't discredit the fact that DeMar DeRozan did help have the Raptors like number 1 in the East while he was there for like at least 2 or 3 consecutive years.
The reason DeMar DeRozan is good as he is
because
he played in San Antonio as well. That's how he learned how to be a point guard.
Now losing Lonzo was a big part of this. They don't lose Lonzo, I feel like they might push the game a little bit more. You feel me? Or at least not get blown out. So like
maybe this is where Rudy Gobert goes. Maybe he goes to Chicago, be their defensive anchor.
Provides defense and no offense, but they need offense.
No, they don't.
They don't.
No. You if you keep this team like you can create. The problem, you can't put Gobert into this situation because of DeRozan's inability or reluctance to actually shoot anywhere outside of like the mid range. So you need somebody like LaVine and Lonzo to compensate for that. So you do need a Vucevic, but you need more of like a Miles Turner or like a younger Ibaka, where you have more of a defensive anchor, but they also have to have the ability to shoot.
I'll take a young Ibaka all fucking
Dude,
day.
I loved young Ibaka. The fact they broke those teams up is like criminal. The fact that they started Kendrick Perkins is criminal too.
Hey, they went to the finals that year.
They did,
and they lost to who? And they lost because they started Kendrick Perkins. Also, they were like 22, and then they never played together.
Exactly. I'm just like, I mean, they were all that young, and they went to the finals. I'm just like, that was a scary good team.
And that was James Harden's only final appearance, and at that point, he was relegated to being what, a 6th man?
Pretty much.
And even then,
that was a mistake. If I'm the coach of that team, I'm like, listen, he's a starter. Like, how he was playing in the last few minutes of the finals anyway. It was like he was already playing. Just made no sense having him off the bench.
They had started? Andre Roberson, or was that somebody else?
No. It was the one dude who got hit like in New York or in Atlanta.
Thabo Sefolosha.
Yeah, he got knocked out.
that was when you still had like
Atlanta.
The cops broke his leg.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a lawsuit against. I think it's the NYPD.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought it was in New York.
Yeah, I remember.
Thabo. I was wondering whatever happened to Thabo, yo. Thabo Seth.
So that last thought.
No, like, look, I don't know. The Bulls team is hard. It's still hard to tell because like it didn't really work in the way that they put it together. It worked for a little bit, but I don't really know how much better they get.
I'm just mad at Chris Middleton for messing up my Bucks pick, because if he doesn't go out, they would have swept, and that was what I called. I called Bucks in 4. Middleton.
I also called Bucks in 4, but did to the same thing. Like Devin Booker did the same thing to me in that series as well.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sorry. Let's talk about another team.
Yeah, well, the other two we have left before we go into the matchups of who's remaining, we have the Hawks and the Nuggets. In similar positions, not much of a fight in each series. Also, we talked about it before. Nuggets had injury problems. Hawks just have Trae Young by himself on an island. Between these two teams, do we have any thoughts of where they're going to go or what they should do? What do you guys think between those two franchises?
I mean, they lost in similar times, like in similar game series, but it was not the same thing. The Denver got cracked because it was Jokic and like 4 dudes off the street. And I mean,
and they almost won game 5.
Yeah.
They really did. Like in San Francisco. I mean, like I thought they were going to get to 6. I called like Warriors in 6. Like the Nuggets came pretty close to making that a reality. The Nuggets are healthy and bench players away from being a great team. They need some depth, and they need Murray and Porter Jr. to actually be healthy, and then that's a legit contender in the West.
Yeah, like Jokic is going to be an MVP candidate forever. Like he's going to age really well. He doesn't
get hurt.
Yeah, that's true. Like the Hawks on the hand, they're screwed, man.
But I think both these teams have a lot in common. They were just like they had long playoff runs the past 2 years, and I think attrition caught up to them a little bit with injuries because they're both injured. Like Atlanta, I like how they're constructed. I love Nate McMillan, and I hope that John Collins comes back healthy off that new contract.
But Atlanta doesn't have an answer. Like Trae can't do anything.
No, I know.
If he's not controlling the ball, and they showed him, and they showed out on him. Like if you like body up on him, he's not going to be in the same thing. Like he kind of caught a break last year
playing the Sixers.
Well, also he played that Knicks team that was dog shit, and only Knicks fans were happy with that.
It's coming at you. It's coming at you.
Hey,
man.
No, to be fair, I agree. Consistent
in a way.
I called that series.
I
called that series.
Wait till next year.
That Knicks. Why? Wait, you still have Julius Randle?
No, Julius Randle's got to go, but
if he goes, you have Westbrook.
You know what? I'll take my chances with that. Remember, he essentially gave the fans a middle finger. Not saying Russ won't do that. He's already fought fans, but at least just some change of scenery. And then when Thibodeau actually gives these young guys minutes like he should, then we'll see where we're going. But, we'll talk about that when we talk draft lottery and stuff in the summer. But
Atlanta's problem is that the fact that Trae Young can't be your number one option.
And they don't have anyone to push him off the ball.
I'm saying like even like Trae can't be your number one option because he's too streaky. Your number one option has to be consistent, and he's not consistent.
How about this? They need 2 better, solid number 2 and 3 options to hold Trae down when he's streaking.
They need Jalen Brunson. You need a guard who can push him off the ball.
Well, not this Jalen Brunson, because he ain't showing up in this series, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, but like,
yeah, we will touch on that.
Yeah, but like they need that type of player. They need somebody to put him off the ball, and then he has to do like So Trae basically has like 2 type of models for his career. It's the James Harden type, which he wants to do, and then there's the Steph Curry type, which he really should be doing, where he's engaged in that off-ball movement and using his passing and his shooting to create lanes for everybody. You need somebody to push him off so he can do that, but he doesn't want to do that, and that's going to hold this team back. Also, John Collins could have developed more into like a passing combo guard type of wing as well. Like they could have done that as well. DeAndre Hunter doesn't really have that many skills either. I still think is that Sam?
Yeah.
What up, Sam?
Sam.
What's up, Bach?
I haven't seen you in so long.
I hear you, but
You want to hear real quick?
yeah, wait. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, it's okay. I paid for this time.
Alex, by the way, that's a dope
Hey,
picture.
Alex.
When you go AFK.
What's up, bro?
What up? What up?
That's Barz and Desmond.
Hey, Barz and Desmond.
What's up, man?
Good, man.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Any just quick thoughts on how the rest of the conference finals?
Let's see. James Harden's going to the Sacramento Kings.
That's your bet?
Yeah.
All
Harden
right.
to the Kings, yeah.
Harden to the Kings. Anyone else who's gonna win of who's remaining left of these teams in the conference finals? Who do you think is coming out in the West? Who's coming out in the East?
I think the Warriors are going to come out the West, and it might be the Bucks coming out the East.
Okay, Warriors and
Cool.
Bucks from San.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that a hot take? I don't know. My breath stinks. All right.
Cool. All right. Cool. Thanks.
That's
Sam.
hot.
Peace, guys. All right. Peace, guys.
All right, man. Yo, be safe, G.
That's my roommate Sam Achari. Sorry for the interruption, but you were saying, Bach?
They just need to develop. Like they need that other guard, and like there's no reason they don't like because they have guys who can do that. Like Herter and Bogdanovich can push him off the ball, and he should initiate that. But like Hunter is not developed great, and like the idea of him is better than what he is. And
He played phenomenally though. He did.
Yeah, but he could be more. Like he has more in him. Like in that way. Like he just like clunky at dribbling. And Collins could do a little bit more. Like it really comes down to forcing Trey to be more Steph than to be more Harden because he can't do the hard thing.
Not having Clint Capella, which I think they led the league in points off the pick and roll. Like they were like number one, I want to say, if I'm correct. Don't quote me if I'm not correct, but if I'm correct, I think that was like the number one connection pick and roll wise was Trey and Clint. He ain't had that. You know, they also went up against a really good team in Miami. So, you know, I'm biased, so I'm just gonna say it. Like they had no chance of winning. You know what I'm saying? They even brought back Victor Oladipo when Kyle Lowry and Jimmy Butler was out. So, and Vic.
Can I make a one request really quickly here? When we start talking about the second round, can we just do the Sixers in Miami first just to get it out the way?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
Get
you
out the
got
way.
it. You got it. We will make sure that's the first
I agree
one.
with Dez.
That actually
I agree
happened to
with
be
Dez.
on my agenda.
it's
But
the
just-
worst series.
Just finishing up the eulogies of the Hawks and the
Nuggets?
Yes, Hawks and Nuggets.
Yeah.
Blow up the Hawks, in my opinion. Blow it up.
Blow it up.
I mean, they have the pieces to make a move. I just don't know where that move is.
I don't like something about
Yeah,
the
Buddy
Hawks needs to
Hield.
change. I don't know if it's roster construction or if it's coaching, but like the way that they're playing the game is not championship level. Like you're not gonna just I just don't think that the way that they try to approach and winning games is gonna work because a team like Miami was able to pretty easily shut them down. I mean, like you should be able to with the talent that Atlanta has, they should have made that a more competitive series. Like Miami just swept them out the building, like they weren't even there.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like this team doesn't like they're definitely better than they should. They're worse than they should be. Like they have good pieces. Like if you're playing this team in 2K, they're good. But like in reality, they're not.
Something's wrong with
Fact.
with Atlanta.
Indeed,
Fact.
indeed.
Did we already eulogize the Warriors? I mean the Nuggets?
We were doing
Yeah,
that like at the
Yeah,
same
pretty
time.
much at the same time in there. But do you have any other thoughts there?
Just
with
real
the
quick,
injury-ridden team.
If you're gonna eulogize the Nuggets, throw Russell Wilson in there.
Russell Wilson in there for showing up. The bad luck charm.
Death of his career. I feel it.
My
Death of his
my.
career. Listen. As far as the Nuggets, I feel like Jamal Murray, we haven't seen him play in a year. And that's really what the Nuggets really need right now. They need their
it's
Jamal
just
Murray back. They need their Michael Porter Jr. back.
Well, they
I
need
don't
the
say
Michael
blow the
Porter
Nuggets
Jr.
up
from
yet.
last year, like in the
Yes.
playoffs, not the one that started this season. He was shit.
I don't think we should blow the Nuggets up yet. I
There's no
think
reason to.
two more like bad playoffs, blow them up. First round sweep, or no, not sweep because they pulled one out, right?
They got 5.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
The fact that
It
they
was
made the
Nuggets in
playoffs
5.
is why Jokic should win MVP, but they're probably going to give it to Embiid.
I think if
Nah.
the Nuggets had the
I keep
3-point shooting that the Mavericks have, and you have Murray and Porter Jr., that's a dangerous team. I think they need sharpshooters on the outside, like 4 or 5 of them. Murray, Jokic, Porter. That's a solid team.
I can't wait to talk about the Mavericks too. Oh, I got something for their ass.
Yeah, I haven't
Oh
seen anything.
man. Well, let's get to it. Let's talk about the conference semifinals. As requested, we first will talk about the Miami Heat versus the Philadelphia 76ers. Currently,
I think we got to go let
series-
Desmond first.
that current series is currently 2 games up. Miami up 2-0. We We have a Heat and a Sixers fan. I will leave the floor to you. Tell me what you're thinking, Desmond.
All right, here's the deal. We didn't get a chance to do this before the round started because had we done that, I would have told you that I thought that the Heat were going to win in 5. Now that the series is going on, I'm thinking Heat in 4. But here's the deal. I am encouraged as a Sixers fan today for a couple different reasons. I think that Tobias Harris, when I said the first time we met, I said he had to prove it to me that he was like worthy of being on this team. I think he's more or less done that. He's shown up in the first round. He's shown up so far in the first 2 games of this series. Max sees the truth. I think he's a great piece going forward. But besides that, this team got a bunch of just like, I'm not sure why they're on the team, people. I mean, Niang sucks.
Paul Reed probably ain't bad. Paul Reed.
Who?
All right, let me ask you this. Would you rather have Paul Reed or DeAndre Jordan right now?
We have them both.
I know. I'd still rather have Paul Reed.
Does it matter? Like,
but I mean,
no,
you played like
team,
statistically, the only time you played well was with Paul Reed playing
the team is poorly constructed. That's not on Embiid. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if he was there, they'd be struggling because Miami is a deep team. This is a very, very deep team Miami has. And they pulled out an all-star like out of sickness. He wasn't even there the whole year. And like, oh, by the way, Victor Oladipo is back. How you feel about that? So, I mean, they don't even need Lowry to play this series. So no, right now, Sixers are going to get knocked out probably in 4. Even if Joel comes back, I mean, we might get it to a 5th game so that Miami can advance on their home floor. I guess sell some tickets if you're Miami. But yeah, the Sixers ain't going any further than this. This was a decent season for them, but the roster construction just ain't what it needs to be a championship team, and someone's got to take accountability for that.
Well, I mean, also to be fair, like James Harden has lost like 4 steps, and that certainly does not.
You know
help.
what? I still support that trade though because
and
we got him for a dude who wasn't going to play. So I mean, I'd rather have at least a guy who's going to be on the floor.
I mean, keeping Seth Curry and Drummond probably would have helped you a little bit too.
I like Seth Curry, but you know what? I was still okay with that trade, but I do like Seth Curry. But
the problem is going to be: are you going to
enough.
give James Harden $50 million?
I like this Heat team though. I believe in this Heat. Like even though they're beating down my team right now, I like this Heat team. I've always been a Jimmy Butler fan. I like Bam Adebayo. You know, Tyler Hero is a great player. I mean, this Heat team is legit. I think they're going to give the Bucks a good run for their money in the next round. That's why I said Alex, the Bucks.
Now understand that we gave the Bucks a good run for their money 2 years ago in the bubble. They came back, did us dirty. This year, I have a lot more faith in us holding the Bucks out this year. With Chris Middleton out, I
think he'll be back by then, right?
He should be back in the next game or 2.
No, I think he's out the whole. No, I think he was ruled out the whole second round.
You say that, but so was Devin Booker. He was ruled out the whole first round.
I'll look it up really quick just to make sure.
But
Devin Booker wasn't supposed to play in that first round series.
Look at game 1, round 2. Tyler Hero was looking like fucking Steph from the 3-point line.
Like, Tyler Hero is not a 6 man. They just play him as a 6 man just to mess with people.
Yeah, he won 6 men of the year.
I know he's technically a 6 man, but he's not a 6 man.
Oh, he got 6 man?
He's like a James Harden.
And by the way,
they do it because it balances their roster better because it lets him do it balances.
Right, because now you have another dominant scorer like on the bench, so it's just like you're never not scoring at a high clip.
Which is the position that Russell Westbrook should have took for this year. He should have got off the bench.
Yeah,
6 man.
Westbrook can't shoot. I shoot better than Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, but at least you driving the shot troopers now. It's like you and the Bad Batch just rolling through. Like at least y'all might be able to do something.
Hey, I appreciate the Bad Batch reference. They should have had a new season come out yesterday, but they didn't.
Hey,
By the way,
we had the 4th pass us. May the 4th still be with you.
Yes, sir.
By the way, Chris Middleton's ruled out for the next 2 games. Possibly can go back for game 5.
That plays good. That plays right into my into my prediction anyway. We'll get there.
Yeah,
next,
no, look, the thing for Philly is Embiid just has the worst luck, and I feel bad for him. I hope they give him MVP because he kind of deserves it. I think he was, he had a good season.
Embiid is not the problem with the Sixers.
Is not no.
No.
I do think you need a new coach. I think it's like I wouldn't feel comfortable karmatically having Doc Rivers and James Harden on the same team. I think that's like inviting, like, you're going to go into a game 7 with them and you already know James Harden is going to shit the bed. Like, you just know.
Look, all I'm trying to say is when we have our role players are people like DeAndre Jordan, Korkmaz, like Niang, Danny Green. I mean, we don't have good depth. So I mean, like when you talk about when you talk about like a championship level team, that's not a championship level bench. And so I'm like, you don't matter who the coach really is until you put together a better roster. You put together the good roster first, then you bring in the coach because the coach can put in a system in an off season.
It's like we're talking shit, but I'm literally looking at their roster and I'm looking at it. Danny Green had 3 points
Listen,
in game
Danny
2.
Green. Danny Green will do Danny Green things, and he'll have like a year where he forgets how to shoot. He'll like forget how to shoot for a month. But Danny Green's a winner,
bro.
He was a winner. He was a winner. That's the past.
Thank you.
Faces.
That was
the past.
He won a title 2 years ago.
That was the past. James Harden was good 2 years ago.
Titles.
James Harden was good
title.
2 years ago. That's over now.
He was a Ray Allen travel away for being Finals MVP.
I don't know what happened to him in the last 2 years, but his time has come.
Wilson used to be a walking triple-double MVP.
Yeah, but he never won anything though.
Exactly. So we can talk about what they are, but what they should be, but what they is not that. So
that's why you would James Harden, Seth Curry, because Seth Curry would have been fine coming off your bench.
Let's look at James Harden's. Yes, they should have kept Steph.
I think you can lay a lot of this. I think you can lay a lot of this at Daryl Morey's feet too, because he got fleeced in that Brooklyn trade.
Yo, what? Fleeced? They pulled his pants down, turned him around,
traded all their roster. You're seeing it now. They have no depth.
Right, dude, but Ben Simmons has a huge contract. So, I mean, like I think we lucked out here.
Matisse Thybulle.
You still got value for Ben Simmons. You couldn't keep him any longer, but they still lost a lot of the depth that they needed. So it was kind of like
I still think you should have traded him to Sacramento.
Yeah, and we got the ghost of Pat Millsap on our team now. I mean, I didn't even know he was on the team, bro.
Bro, Matisse Thybulle.
Yeah, I thought Brooklyn waived him before they traded him. Like I thought, like 2 months earlier they had to waive him.
You should switch out Tobias Harris for the weekend just to see if anybody notices.
Yeah, I mean, you can flip Tobias for something. I don't.
Yeah, he's a good player.
I don't
know. Zach
LaVine,
maybe.
That would
Matisse Thybulle.
That would work.
Dude, I love Matisse Thybulle.
And scored a goose egg.
Dude can't. No, but hold on. To be fair, man can't. Man can't shoot, but he can lock people up.
I mean, his 3 isn't bad, and he's still young, so I think he can develop that.
He's
3.
still like,
but
he's only like his 30.
He's like our Bruce Bowen.
Yeah,
Bruce Bowen. Bruce Bowen was fucking.
Yeah,
I mean, he's not hurting people, but
he can hit.
Well, you know what I'm trying to say. He's our defensive guy who occasionally makes the shot.
Yeah,
you know, that's what he's out there to do.
Like Tyrese Maxey had 34 points, phenomenal. James Harden had 29 and 4. That is pedestrian playoff numbers. That is.
Harden's done. But I'm encouraged by Maxey. You know what I'm saying? I'm encouraged by Maxey. I think he's going to be great.
Oh, Embiid is out. So I guess I got to score 20 points. Nah, bitch, you need to score 50 points. You need to get into that double.
But he can't.
He can't do it anymore. Like it's obvious that he can't do it anymore.
When you tire yourself out in the regular season, what else do you expect?
It's not even. It's not that he physically can't anymore. I don't know if it's because he's still fat or his hamstring is bothering him. But like he cannot. Like even in Brooklyn, it was like kind of obvious that the passing is still there. Like he's still a fantastic passer, but he cannot get around anybody.
He's in his 30s now. He's just not as fast as he used to be. You see him with Chris Paul too.
They're not giving him every baby foul. They're not giving him every.
That's true too.
They're not.
Yeah,
I mean, you play 90 games a year every single year. I mean, that's a toll on your body, dude.
And he was an Iron Man.
And he was a high usage person. He's kind of like how Doncic is now.
Bro, if you breathed on him, he was going to the foul line.
Yeah, but like he was an Iron Man. Like,
it was worse than Jordan.
Shot clock.
If you even looked at Jordan was going to the line. But this nigga, if you even wave in his presence, well, now they changed the rules, so now you notice who's not scoring as much as they used to
in the regular season. Yeah.
All right, we got to move on.
But yes, definitely, we see another season end on the horizon for Philly. Maybe next year, the process, who knows? But
hey, man, I know that you feel me up in New York. I know you do. But at least we get to the playoffs, though, huh?
Oh, the new era is going to start. The 2020s is the time for the New York Knicks fan to prosper, except in this year. But you have that over me. But That's going to change, Desmond. You watch. And for the other
No
East Coast
disrespect.
matchup, the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks, one of these stellar physical matchups I was talking about. Series tied at 1. It's a best of 5 at this point. Where do we see this leading into?
Well, I think Alex should go first, being the Celtics fan.
He's not a Celtics fan. He's
He's not a
hell
He's
Celtics
not a
fan.
Celtics. He's the opposite.
no.
He's
I
a
thought he
Lakers
was a
fan.
I thought he was a Celtics. I
Oh
apologize. I
no,
thought he was
brother,
a
I'm a
Celtics.
diehard Lakers fan.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
Celtics
Don't
fans for
disrespect me
now.
like that.
But I called that series because I believe in Boston. I hate saying it. Especially watching Winning Time on HBO. But this team, like, they're loaded. I think this is probably the best series in the semifinals. Predictably, like, at least from my perspective. I think that I'll open it up to you guys because I want to hear what you guys have to say first.
Is everything good? Y'all can hear me because it says my connection's a little unstable.
Yeah, you're back. What's up?
All right, so I feel that this is a pretty good series. I kind of want Boston to take it, but I would love some revenge on Milwaukee. Won't even lie. I feel like we can handle Boston. They are a bit dynamic on the floor, though. I won't lie. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, they're looking really, really like good. But like the problem is when they lose, they lose. So it's like, they were like, what is it? They did blow out the Celtics, the Bucks, but the Bucks handed them an ass whooping. It was pretty bad.
And Giannis hasn't played well yet.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't
we're not
shot
even-
well at all.
We're not even talking about championship series Giannis, where it's like he's hurt, but he's coming back in like 3 games and he's dropping like everything on you. You saw how he closed out the Suns. Like what? Like it was madness. We're not even talking about that Giannis yet.
No, I honestly, I see this series going 6. I feel bad for disrespecting the Celtics in round 1. Obviously, I wasn't aware, but I think the difference between this team and the other team is the fact that I look at that first round series with the Celtics and the Nets, right? The Celtics won all 4 of those games by a combined total of 18 points. So a team that refused to play defense, you swept them, but you barely swept them. I mean, like, for instance, Phoenix, won by 20 points last night versus Dallas. Like, over the whole course of a series, Boston never beat, the Nets like that, over the total. So even though they're good, I don't see them as being like a dominant force that just came off a first round sweep. Middleton's not back, and yet, Milwaukee was able to go into Boston game 1 when they had their full team, including Smart, and put a beating on them, held them to under 90 points. They get Middleton back in this series.
My ass.
I mean, I'm just saying. I think Milwaukee's got this in 6.
Yeah, look, the thing with Milwaukee though is they do have the problem with their large size offense. Like they're not like they can't score in the same way with their big towers, with the Bobby Portis. But I mean they can shift down with Giannis down at the 5. But I think they're gonna win because he hasn't played well. Like in game 1, he had a triple double, but he's shot like 9 for 25. And I think in game 2 he kind of forced it a little bit. And like when it comes down to it, they don't have directly an answer that's going to stop Giannis. Now, I do think Marcus Smart getting hurt does help the Celtics, though, because I think Derek White is a better fit for this series than Marcus Smart is because he can actually shoot a little bit. I'm also a homer because Derek White was our boy for really good time. But the Celtics, you're not going to beat Giannis. It's hard to root against Giannis at this point.
Jason Tatum's really good, though. I mean,
He is really good, though.
I feel like he has the cheat
stellar.
code.
He was
I see
really
him make
outplaying
these shots. I'm
KD
just
in the
are we
first
sure we
round.
ain't watching 2K right now?
I don't want to interrupt. I just want to ask real quick. Let's just put on my mind. What the fuck are Marcus Smart's stats that he got Defensive Player of the Year? To be the first guard since Gary Payton.
Well, it's more that they had the number 1 defense probably, and also
It's probably
he's
one
like
of
a
the
big
next gen stats.
Yo,
when he's the primary defender, he locks down so and so, 90%. Like it's probably one of those types of stats, like the next gen stats.
Is he guarding Devin Booker? Is he guarding?
I mean, he
Giannis?
does guard the best player on the team usually. So I mean,
Didn't like Tony Allen win Defensive Player of the Year years past for like not being like amazing but stellar defense?
He got all first team
No.
defense, I think.
No, I thought he won Defensive Player of the Year at least once.
I mean, if he
I
did,
thought a guard did too. But
If
I
he
don't
did,
think
then-
Tony Allen did it. I think he was probably first
Yeah.
team all defense.
yeah.
Yeah.
He
And
played
that was-
a couple times in the finals.
And that's when he played on that perennial Grizzlies team that I always keep talking about.
Well,
I
he was
love
also
that
on the
Grizzlies
Celtics
team.
team that won the title in 08.
Yeah,
So that's where Trick or Treat Tony
Yeah.
came from.
yeah.
So since we're here already, mentioning the Grizzlies, let's still save them for last because I got such a hot take.
I'm,
They should be up
I'm
to
We'll
good
do
with
that. But is there any more on the Bucks and Celtics that we haven't covered yet?
This
Oh,
series is
actually,
really good.
I want to do one thing real quick.
Yep.
I wanted to get everyone's picks
Yo.
for this series, and I didn't get y'all's picks for the Heat Sixers either. I want to get them down on paper so we
Good,
know
bro.
we come back.
Miami in
yes.
5.
Oh,
I
Miami
believe
in
in
5.
Embiid for one game. I believe in Embiid for one game. I think
Okay.
the game he comes back, he's gonna go for 45 and 15. He's just gonna drop just a stupid game on them.
I'm gonna go with Bach too. I second that. They will win one, definitely win one at home, and then that's it.
I hate to rip you guys off. I got Miami in 5.
Barz, you're muted.
Oh, you're muted, Bars.
It's because he's not a professional streamer. That's what it is.
We got you. Got you.
That's like the funniest joke among all
My
professional
bad.
streamers.
I got a phone call. Had to do some business real quick. What were you saying?
Who you got in the Miami Philly? What you think? Miami,
Miami
well, how many games though? How many games?
6. I'll give it 6 because if Joel Embiid
Oh,
comes back, if he doesn't
yeah,
come
okay.
back, I'm giving it 4.
Damn, he has less faith in his team than anybody else here.
No, I have an astonishing.
No,
amount of
I
faith in
Everyone
call
my
else
team.
is
Heat.
five.
I
I
call
have to
Heat in
go-
4. That's no faith in my team. Hold up now. I got the winner for that one.
Like I got I literally just have to put respect on Embiid's name at least once. That's
So
it.
in the Milwaukee Boston series, I'm giving Milwaukee in 6. I want to know what y'all feel about that before we go to the next one.
I say the
I'll
Celtics
give,
in 7.
I agree with Matt.
Celtics in 7 for me.
Wait, so do we know Middleton's coming back game
5,
Sounds like
Okay.
5.
5?
according to
Bucks in
NBA
7.
TV 30 minutes ago.
I got Boston in 6.
Okay.
Cool.
We're all
stuff.
on the record now.
Awesome. Now for the Suns and Mavs, we'll start with the predictions and defend it after the fact. I think the Suns will win in 5 against the Mavs. Looking really good. Devin Booker's back. I think this will be a real chance to see how much Luka needs another person to help him out. Thought it was KB. They could not coexist.
Oh, I have a funny question.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know who the all-time leader in scoring for single games for the NBA playoffs is?
The
Oh,
all-time.
wait.
Like the highest point per game.
Oh, point per game?
Yeah.
It's not
Over
like
the course
a
of how many games though?
No, just like the number, like who has the highest a game average like for their playoff career.
Ooh, I got it.
not
Is it
like a
Luka
Wilt
Doncic?
Chamberlain or a
Nah,
It's Luka.
I got
Kareem.
it.
It's Luka Doncic.
Luka,
really?
he's averaging 35.4, and
Mhm.
Jordan was averaging 35.3.
Right, but he's played how many playoff games? 6?
I think it's like a dozen.
Come on now.
I guess that still counts.
Wait, who's played 6?
Luka.
But it's it's still think about it. But to be fair, is there a worse wing pairing for him to have started both of his playoff series against than Kawhi and Paul George, and still the average 35 a game?
It shows the power on how talented the guy is. And it's
This is
so
a
weird in
monster.
the Trey Young, Luka Doncic, who won the trade. I guess that's still many years to come to decide that, but Luka's definitely in the lead. I could say that. But back to my prediction, though, I say the Suns are going to win in 5 against Dallas.
What is it right now? 2-0.
2-0. 2-0.
Suns in 4.
Suns at 4. I don't know if you guys saw that stat. Hold on, let me pull this stat back up because this is like the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen in my life.
While you get that stat, I'm gonna just drop this, right? Jalen Brunson averaged 28 points last series. 28 points last series. Now he's, I want to say, Like, I'm just gonna give a rough estimate because I'm not really sure. I can't average off the top of my head. He's probably averaging anywhere because he had like 8 and then what, like I forget what he had the first game, but it was in double digits, but it was less than 20. So I'm gonna say he's probably like averaging 12 points, maybe 13 right now. That's not gonna be enough, and it proves that whoever he was playing in the first round was obviously not good enough to guard him. This round, he got somebody that's locking him up. He can't do nothing with him.
Their effective field goal range, so like what they're expected to shoot, they shot 22.2% higher in game 2. Like this Phoenix team, their offensive numbers are mind-blowing. Every time they put Luka in a like statistically, every time they put Luka in a pick and roll, they get a layup. It is this team is so fucking good. It is like wild. They're so out, but they're so much better. Like, it's not that this is a bad Mavericks team. This is Phoenix team is just stupid. Like,
they're like a great college team in the sense of playing everything right in the game of basketball itself on both sides of the court.
Like, and their shot selection is terrible. They just kill you from the mid range. It makes no sense.
Were we supposed to do our predictions first and then defend it? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
All right. Alex, you want to go first or me go first?
For Phoenix Dallas.
Yeah.
I got.
Was I muted for that whole thing?
Yeah.
All right. No, I got Phoenix. I got Phoenix in 5.
Phoenix in 5. I got Phoenix in 6.
I got Phoenix.
I think Dallas is going to win game 3 for sure.
Rooms, Barz.
Because I think that like Phoenix like struggles to put people away. Like they're a good team, but I feel like they kind of struggle to put people away a little bit. And I saw some of that with New Orleans, like, you know, in that first series, you know, they went down to New Orleans.
6.
They got a little shook when they first got there for game 3. And I think the crowd in Dallas is for real. So I think that, you know, home court advantage does matter in the NBA playoffs. And I think that you're going to see a lot of the bench players for Phoenix not have those great games that they had in Phoenix and Dallas. And Dallas's 3-point shooting, I mean, that's for real. I mean, yeah, they got blown out in the fourth quarter last night. It was like a 22-2 run or something like that. But like they're a good team, and I think they're going to get at least 2 out of this series before it ends.
The other thing is, like,
I think this Sun.
I don't know where Dallas goes from here. Like I don't know how much. Like, what do you do? Like, you have to keep Jalen Brunson, right? Like, how do you get better? Like, I'm not sure where this team goes to get better. That's what like the weird thing for me. Like Luka is fantastic, and you do need that other guard. So I mean, maybe having a season Spencer did would actually make him like a little bit more. But like, you're just gonna walk it up and have Luka control every like that game. That works fine in the regular season, but you can't win playoff games like that. Like, where do you go to get the second guy?
Yo, Luka, this type of team always is good, but can't win championships. Like, this is the same team that the Rockets had when Harden was playing really great in like 2018. This is the same team that the Cavaliers had after Kyrie Irving left. It's just like, let one dude be real ball dominant, like penetrate the lane, and then maybe pass out to a player on the corner who's going to hit a 3. I mean, you can win games like that, but you can win championships with that type of offense. Yeah. And they don't play defense that great either. I mean, the Suns were picking them apart. You let 65% shooting happen on you. That's pathetic, bro.
And let's just talk about this Suns team. They are statistically on paper as well, just better than they were last year. If you look at it, like
their statistics are just bonkers. They're so like their numbers.
Yeah, DeAndre Ayton doesn't miss with that like 15-foot like jump shot.
Chris Paul's plus and minus is ridiculous, yo.
But I mean, it's always
need to look at the stats, bro. You see him just take over the games. It was like that old man ball just kept working for him. Like,
you want the Suns to lose?
Into a lane, shoot over a dude who's a foot taller than him.
Don't knock the point guard game. That's how it be.
No, I'm saying his old man game. Like, he moves slow, like Paul Pierce used to move on the court, right? Just like slow as hell. You're not sure
but like
how
Paul
he gets
Pierce was never the
the
same level of athlete that.
But now,
like, young Chris Paul was an athlete. Like Paul Pierce,
right? But he's not like young Chris Paul anymore. He's 37-year-old Chris Paul, and he's still.
Let's look at this.
Yeah.
Let's look at this now, right? It was interesting that they attacked Chris Paul really, really well. I think he was either game 1 or game 2, slowed his ass all the way down to the point where they had to take him off the court.
I don't. I haven't watched any of the games.
You know what I'm saying? Like put in someone else from the shock troops, but at the same time, even with old man Paul on the court, they're still doing it. You could tell that he was slowed significantly, but he was still making pivotal passes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah.
still like, this Phoenix team is just bonkers good, and I like Miles Bridges a lot.
It could
They
definitely.
and they can just swap in pieces. DeAndre Ayton's not playing well. Oh, we'll play Bismack Biyombo, and he'll score 9 points on 4-4 shooting because it doesn't matter who Chris Paul is playing pick and roll with. They're gonna score a bajillion points.
Listen, the play that you run when Ayton leaves the game is JaVale McGee getting the steal. Okay, that's the play you get. JaVale McGee gets the steal, runs down the court, gets a dunk.
Yeah,
He's been playing
ridiculous.
great in this series.
Listen, we're not
see
that.
that coming.
We're a long way away from JaVale McGee shacking a fool. Like the dude is like a 3-time champion.
Put some respect on his name.
He's
Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 3-time champion the way that like James Jones is like a 6-time champion, right?
Or Robert Horry.
Hey, put some respect on big.
Oh, you
big
talking
Shot
about
Bob's
James?
name.
You talking about James Jones from New England?
from Miami.
Yeah, but the guy
you talking about
with LeBron, who went into like every finals with them.
Yeah, he's on every finals team.
Talk about that loyalty. All right, the final matchup to get into, and this is going to be a lot of fun, which should lead to a stellar Western Conference final. The Warriors and Grizzlies tied at 1. Again, we'll throw the where we see the futures is going to go. I think this is going to be a 7-game series, and it will go to the Warriors. And I think it'll go to a stellar buzzer beater from Steph, maybe Clay, maybe Draymond, who knows? Or maybe they are like similarly in game 1, down by 1. Ja Morant almost drives to the lane and ties the game, or would take the lead, and they would lose. But even if that goes 7 and the Grizzlies actually would play at home, I still think the Warriors would take it ultimately. But what do you guys say?
All right, real quick, so I can start with my hot take.
Here we go.
Grizzlies in 7. Now,
Write it down.
I'm gonna write this shit down. Grizzlies in 7.
Grizzlies in
And
7.
this is my hot take. If the Grizzlies beat the Warriors, they are my favorites to win the NBA championship.
Imagine the
I'm
Memphis
writing that
Grizzlies
down.
winning
We need to get like the
NBA
little like
finals.
post-it notes we put on the wall, kind of like they do for in NBA T on T.
Yeah, I like that idea. We could pull that off. Man, Barz, if the Grizzlies win the NBA finals, I mean, Ja Morant's legacy. How about that? He
dude.
can retire tomorrow. He might not be a Hall of Famer, but he will give the
buzzer beater
Grizzlies.
layup. What
He
do you
give the
mean?
Grizzly, the city of Memphis, the greatest thing since Elvis. But
He dropped what, 40? He dropped
47.
40 to win that game. Listen,
47.
I watched the last 5 minutes of that game. It was all Ja. It was all Ja. Just literally
no. I have Grizzlies in 6.
taking it.
The Grizzlies is 6. You think so too, Bach?
No, they
Writing that
cannot.
down, too.
They don't have an. First off, look, they should really be up 2-0. They
Mhm.
this is not that far from being 2-0. The Golden State does not have an answer for Ja. They don't have a way to shift Ja. Like the dude goes left every time, and they let him go left every. Like they don't have a guy who's going to stay in front of him. They're going to have to start doubling him, and then if Jaren Jackson figures out how to not foul, he had 33 in game 1. He can't figure out how to stop fouling the shit out of people. But like, this is a really good Grizzlies team. I love Brandon Clark. I love Slow-Mo. He will forever be the perfect Spur because of just how he plays. But like, this is a really good Grizzlies team that is a bad matchup for this Warriors team because they like, if we're talking about Clay like a year from now and we match up, it's a different story where Clay can actually kind of stay in front of Ja. He cannot stay in front of Ja. Andrew Wiggins cannot stay in front of Ja. Gary Payton was their answer for that, and he gone.
Get rid of fucking
Some shaky
Andrew
logic
Wiggins.
there. Logic there.
Not
Because
shaky.
Luka is putting up the same number of points in for Dallas that Josh putting up for Memphis. And obviously, They still lost by what was like 20, like almost like 30 last night to the Suns. So like you don't need to lock down their best player to beat a team. Like you can let the best player go off and still beat a team. And I think the Warriors will do that. I got Warriors in 6. And actually, no, let me change that. I got Warriors in 5. Okay. I think Warriors going to sweep this thing up next 3 games, especially with Dylan Brooks being out this next game.
That's why I'm
going to get the best of him.
Okay.
So yeah, I got Warriors in 5 right now. I really do think that Memphis is not that good playing on the road. But let's not forget, I know this is a thing of matchups, but they were down double digits 3 different times in the fourth quarter against the T-Wolves. Okay. I think the problem there was that the Wolves didn't understand how to put a team away. The Warriors don't have that problem. They know how to put teams away. And so like, hold on a second. I'm just saying, I think that Memphis has a lot of raw talent, but it's not like refined yet. So, I mean, I think, the Warriors are going to be able to like through poise, like take these games away, even though that Memphis has plenty of talent to play with the Warriors.
See, I agree. Partially because I feel like that greenness they got is what's going to help them beat the Warriors, that young, fresh take on it. Steph is playing like, pretty good, but he ain't lights out like he used to be, like, or he's not shooting currently lights out like he used to be. Clay is still good. I believe this could be Draymond's last year as a Warrior.
Wild. Why?
I know. Why? I don't know. I feel like he doesn't provide that oomph that he used to. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and
not just on just
of Jokic. Like, he did a great job on Jokic. He's like the only player who slowed him down. Like, he's still, like, as an individual and a team defender, might be the best defensive player in the league.
Yeah.
Like,
he's their.
I don't think
they're gonna go small ball. He's their key if they want the 5 to go small ball.
Yeah, he's their key there, but there's a way to get around small ball. And if these guys are too fast and he can't keep up, like I don't know. And the league is just trending towards younger, faster players.
Who's their enforcer without Draymond? Because Wiseman doesn't look like the answer.
I mean, he can't get on the court. So, I mean, he's kind of like a Zion right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say this much. You want to talk about stats all the time. I'll give you this stat really quick. Klay Thompson shot 2 for 12 from the 3 in game 2. You think that's going to be a consistent thing for him? No.
No.
So, I mean, like, he goes 4 for 12. They win that game and they're up 2-0. And that's still a bad shooting night for Klay Thompson. So, I mean, I think the Warriors went like 5 for 20 or something like that from the 3 in game 2. It was pathetic on their part. They're going to shoot better in San Francisco. Their role players are going to shoot better in San Francisco. And they're going to be hyped up from the fact that one of their best or one of their favorite players, Gary Payton II, got knocked out. So I get the feeling they're going to come out like gangbusters. And when they go up 3-1, Memphis ain't going to have no answer for them in game 5.
No, they're going to win this game because of Dylan Brooks is out, but that's why I give them 2. But I think this Memphis team, like, look, I came into this thinking, like, I don't know how much better they're going to get, but, like, I forget how young Jaren Jackson is and, like, how still kind of, like, fucking raw he is. And, like Brandon Clark, I really liked him so much to start. Like, in the draft, he was, like, one of my favorite players, and they got him. And Desmond Bain hasn't played particularly well either.
He can get
he hasn't played well yet.
And so, like, they're, I think the fact that there's no real answer for Ja, and the fact that, like, they have Jaren Jackson Jr., and if he can stay out of foul trouble, that makes a difference. I think this is just a bad year matchup for the Warriors. Like, I think basically whoever drew Dallas in round 2 was moving on. And I think Warriors got the short straw by drawing Memphis. Like, I don't think they were going to, I think Dallas was the only team that they were going to beat, especially unless, like, if the Gary Payton wasn't hurt, then we'd be talking about something different. But I don't think that, because Ja creates, like, the dude comes into 4 people and throws it behind his head to an open shooter. Like, the things he does are just, like, he is the most fun point guard to watch, like, since young Derrick Rose and Westbrook. Like that's what it is. Like when Steph went off, like when Steph, like, broke out and, like, a Steph game was heating up, it's a different experience. Like, when Ja is heating up, it is, he dunks on Draymond one game. That's it. It's over. They're going to win that game. He's going to dunk
on Draymond.
Guy
from Murray State, man.
Listen, Desmond Bain
If I get to make
is
my
an
pick real
animal.
quick.
Like,
Yeah, what's
okay.
Oh, I was gonna say first, I got to see him when he was at Murray State because they were playing in the tournament in the East region for March Madness, and they were in Hartford. So I got to see him live when he made that freaking time. That was cool. But if I have to pick a team, I'm going 7. I'm going 7.
Oh, okay.
I got the
So I'm the-
throwback.
Wait, Matt, did you say Warriors? Am I the only person thinking Warriors?
no?
right
I said
Yeah,
Warriors
Matt
in
said Warriors.
7.
Did.
I
Okay,
think I
okay.
even think just
Yeah,
that I think also just because of the veteran presence of that team helps them as well, and I think that'll go away, especially in a big game 7, which this Grizzly team has not played in yet. Even though they do have the home court advantage, I do think that they would fall just short against the Warriors. And remember, I don't remember exactly which team the Warriors lost a conference semifinals with Mark Jackson right before they started their dynasty. And I think that could be a similar situation with the Grizzlies with their young coach and a nucleus they're building. Maybe they turned it to one of the hotter teams of the decade.
They also got rid of Mark Jackson right after that and brought in
Yeah,
Steve
and then
Kerr.
Steve Kerr, and the rest is history.
Well, I think that Memphis, the first round, they saw their blunders, they saw their problems closing games. I think they course corrected a lot, and because they're a young team, they got a lot to prove, and they're hungry. And I think that they're going to catch Golden State off guard this year. I think that they're taking too much for granted.
Bro, when Dylan Brooks come back, they got Dylan Brooks. They still got JJJ. They still got Desmond Bain. Who else? Who's on that starting 5 that I'm forgetting?
Exactly.
Steven Adams.
Exactly. You don't know their name because
It's
they ain't
Steven
because they're the
Adams.
only players who doing
Don't
something.
need to know them.
Look,
The
they're,
only players who
deep
doing
and they're
something.
hungry.
If they
and
had
they're
Grayson Allen, they'd be looking smooth right now, though.
It should be illegal to put Dylan Brooks and Grayson Allen on the same team. Like, that's literally a danger to the people that Grayson Allen really should not be allowed. Like, he is a legitimately dirty player.
Like,
there you go.
How long did
do not
Raja Bell
disagree.
stay in the league for?
Kid used to he's just a big bitch sometimes, but other than that, like, he can play. Like, literally temper tantrums, but outside of that, like, he can play. Like I don't think he's done any championship in the league.
Dylan Brooks hurt that guy, it wasn't on purpose, but he plays that like PJ Tucker. I'm gonna like basically just throw my chest into you the whole game. And just, like, tackle you,
bro.
But every
Bro,
team's
I
got
watched
that enforcer though.
I watched that video like 10 times, like I do with everything when someone gets hurt. He like threw his head down and swung his arm up. Bro, you blocked the ball up here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to look when you blocking the ball. He was just kind of like, come on, little nigga, and just pushed him down, like, in a way. So it may not seem intentional, but he still should get suspended for it. Hot take.
I wasn't mad that he did get suspended for it.
Wow, this is like as fun as the Boston series is fun for like the X's and O's matchup. This series is fun because you have there's so many guys who can just do like absurdly inhuman shit. Like, Ja could dunk on 7 people and Steph can go for 15 threes. Like, literally anything is on the table.
And then
as far as things on the table are concerned, I want to just go ahead and re-emphasize what I said in the first time that we did this. I still have Phoenix in 7 over the Bucks NBA Finals.
okay, I'm gonna just double down. I got the Heat in the finals.
I still have Phoenix Bucks in the finals.
The Grizzlies.
You can't have Phoenix Bucks in the. Oh, okay.
But why not?
Well, the way you were talking about Memphis, I thought you were going to pick. I'm sorry.
No. They're
Barz
not
the one
gonna...
who said Memphis was going to go. That's right.
No. Like, this Memphis, it's a different animal playing against this Phoenix team. Like, they can actually throw somebody at Ja who can they're better matched up than Golden State. But no, I don't know who's going to win the fight, but it's still going to be Phoenix Bucks. I trust Giannis. Like, I have no. There's like
Giannis is an animal, bro.
It must be like
win.
Yeah, like, it must have been kind of like watching Jordan, like, where that like instinctively this guy is going to like do something, and like there's another level, and like it's like I know at every point he's going to be the best player on the floor,
which could lead to him getting hurt, which would derail their entire championship process. Like,
well, I mean,
obviously,
lose your best player,
hurt,
it's going to lose
changes
anyone's
everything,
championship
but,
roster.
like,
But I mean, Giannis is not injury prone though.
Yeah,
but he has suffered a few minor, small,
through them.
light injuries. But attrition is the key here.
Attrition is the other team. Motherfucker bodies. He is Shaq with a handle.
Like, yo, listen,
He tosses
attrition.
people.
And that's the thing, though. If you're forced to constantly go out there and give your effort every night that you play in the game, and you gotta like double down for your teammates too, attrition will set in. You gotta think about it. How much can you dribble? How like his free throw percentage, like in the first season was like bad. Like not the first season, the first series was bad. Like Giannis wasn't looking like Giannis was looking when he won the chip, where he was missing like no free throws. So we gotta take everything into consideration. And it's like, yeah, we know he wants it bad, but how bad does the rest of his team want it?
I don't know.
Bad.
All I can
Bad.
see for myself is like when I watch like the Heat play or the Bucks play, I've already eliminated the Celtics in my mind. If they beat the Bucks, I'm gonna feel stupid when we come back and see each other next time. But I don't think either one of those teams got enough offense to beat Phoenix this time.
Wait, don't feel bad, Desmond. Whoever comes out of this Bucks Celtics series is going to the finals.
Tristan is gonna shut down Phoenix too. That's my prediction. Listen,
Yeah, if the
Chris
Celtics do
Paul
beat the Bucks,
is
I got them
old.
over the Heat.
Chris Paul is so old.
Yeah, but there's like 3 point guards I'd rather have than Chris Paul. So it's not like that, especially if we're talking about clutch position. Like we're talking like the last couple
Have
minutes.
we
of the
been
game.
watching the playoffs, man? Yeah, he takes over these fourth quarters. They
Yeah,
don't even make no
does.
sense.
this
He
is
does.
like
That's why I feel like Ja is gonna whip him out, because Ja ended up scoring like 30 or 40 after being like scoreless
Does
for like
Ja play defense? though?
mad quarters.
yeah, they hide him.
Does Ja play defense?
And
Because the
then all of a
Suns,
sudden-
because the Suns
it's a
scored all
different-
5 positions.
It's
So, like,
a
you-
different
like-
thing scoring on Miles Bridges than it is on Andrew Wiggins.
And all of a
the
sudden, he's
Suns
driving
score
up
at
like
every
it's a
position.
Chick-fil-A.
It's like you can't hide anybody on that team because they'll just attack you with whoever they want to.
Yeah,
Like,
they're gonna put Ja in every pick and roll, every single
Exactly.
pick and roll. The
because
same
he's gonna
penetrate Ja
drive
the
up
same-
on
And we know
he's
he's
gonna
not
drive
afraid.
up on you like you're a drive-through, score, get his order, and tip the bitch. Like this shit is ridiculous.
But it's gonna be a lot of fun regardless. But so yeah, I think we checked off everything we needed to. This is gonna be a very fun rest of the conference semis. I'll see you all at the start of the conference finals, and we'll see who made it, who didn't, and who has the best picks of this bunch. Thank you, Desmond, for notating that for us. But I'll leave it to the floor. Is there any announcements, or is there anything I left or forgot to mention, or any plugs anyone wants to put out to the audience?
Desmond, we ain't got no panels coming up soon, do we?
Nothing for sure yet. I'm gonna say that currently my current playoff MVP is Chris Paul.
The old man, according to Barz Tha God.
I mean, he is. I think he might actually be the oldest player left. He's almost 40.
I mean, Udonis Haslem though.
Udonis Haslem doesn't count. He's been on the same bench position for 5 years. I think he was playing that position when LeBron was there.
I know you didn't. I know you didn't just bring up fucking King Tut's guardian. Like, don't even like. You just brought up the oldest player. Like, I
They
think
have like a
currently in the
special
league.
exemption to keep him on the bench. Like he doesn't count for their
like,
cap.
He literally is the only player in the league that never touches the floor, but yet still gets paid. To
They
be an
re-sign him
NBA
every
player.
year. He's like a special exemption to the cap.
They even call him some kind of player coach or some shit like that. Like, and when Eric Spoelstra was about to go, oh, let's talk about this real fast.
All right, make it real quick, Barz. What's up?
The reason why I got the Heat doing good is somebody said Victor Oladipo was going to be a big change. They were fucking right. I don't know who said that shit, but one of
Oh, I
y'all
said
said
it
it.
was an X factor.
He is a fucking X factor. He's gonna coming off the bench like Ginobili. Come on,
Hold on. Don't be saying
I
that.
gotta end it
Ginobili
there
is the best
because-
sixth man in all time. He is the best second round pick ever.
You might
And
have
this
to
is
come
why
back
we
for that one.
appreciate you guys. But all right, Alex Rannielio, David Bach, Desmond Price, and Barz Tha God. Thank you, gentlemen, for another stellar episode. I will see you all in about a week and a half when the conference semifinals tips off, or more like 2 weeks. But we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you really soon.
Yo,
Take
Matt,
care, guys.
it's
So
always
long,
a
guys.
pleasure, baby. Des, it's nice doing this the second time. Bach, Alex, y'all always know it's good vibes.
Yes, sir.
God bless y'all.
Nothing but. See you later.